What's up guys, it's Foster and I'm back today to talk to you about my Time Attack S2000 and some of the progress that I've been making to it. In the last video, I had the car on the dyno so we could find out just how much power the car makes with the stock engine. So since my last video, there's been a ton of updates. One of the biggest ones is what you can see behind me. I finally got a lift installed in my shop, so it's been a huge time saver. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about how the K-swap is going, and I'm gonna show you some of the mods that I've got done to the car since you saw it last. So as you can see, I got a 2-post lift installed in my shop, and I do have 10-foot ceilings, so I was able to put a 9.5-foot lift in the shop. But this has made the K-swap so much easier, being able to drop the engine and the transmission from beneath the car using my lift. Getting the lift installed wasn't as straightforward as I originally expected. I actually had to get new concrete footers poured in my shop to support the weight of the lift. So that process delayed things a little bit, but in the end, the lift is installed. And like I said, it's been really helpful to have this in the shop because I've been dropping the engine and the transmission out of the bottom of the car for test fitting. As you can see, this is the F-Series that I've pulled from the car, and I did this process by disconnecting the wiring harness and the vacuum lines, undoing the subframe bolts and some ball joints on the car, and then dropping this as an entire unit, which is a huge time saver. And it's also gonna mean that now I can put this whole assembly into the silver car. So let's talk about my Time Attack car. As you can see, there are some pretty big updates on the exterior. Just picked up the car from the IAG body shop and they helped me install my J's Racing front fenders and these ASM rear over fenders. And that's to allow me to run these bigger 18 by 10.5-inch wheel and tire setup that I'm gonna be running this season. This is supposed to be faster than the 17-inch setup that I was on before, so I figured I'd give it a try since that's what all the Club TR guys are running in my class. And overall, I'm really happy with how it turned out. The car looks super aggressive now. So the wheels I put on the car are a Koenig Hypergram in an 18 by 10.5 with a super aggressive plus 25 offset. And the main reason why I went with the 10.5 is for a little bit of tire stretch on the 255 to get stiffer sidewalls, and it's supposed to help a lot with better lap times. So we're gonna give it a try. We're doing everything we can this season to find some lap time and keep up with the guys who are at the front of Club TR. Another one of the upgrades I made that you can't see at the moment is I did install some Carsips hubs. Basically the extra load that I'm gonna be putting into my rear hubs from the wider wheel and tire package, as well as all the heat, is gonna create a failure point. As you can see, these OEM hubs are machined out on the rear, which is what causes the failure. And the Carsips hubs don't have that issue. And they're kind of the go-to move in the S2000 community if you're building a track car. So I wanted to have peace of mind that I'm not gonna have hub failure. I also figured while I'm at it, I'm gonna do ARP extended studs and new wheel bearings, so I had a friend at the shop help me install those. Now for the update on the K-swap. As you can see, I've got the K24 in the engine bay and it fits really nicely. It still sits behind the front strut towers and it sits really low in the bay just like the F-Series does. So I'm really happy with that. And everything pretty much bolted right up with the ASM GLTC package. So if you are gonna K-swap your car, like I said in my last video, that's pretty much the easy button. And if you wanna know what's all included with that swap package, go back and watch that video. I go over all the different components that you get with the K24 swap package from ASM. But one thing you can tell that we are still missing in the engine bay is the wiring harness. So I'm gonna be working with Sam from Dialed In Motorsports to make a custom wiring harness. And even though this is a little bit overkill, it's gonna be a much nicer solution than any of the wiring harnesses that are currently available on the market. And it's gonna be a really high quality motorsports grade harness. I'm having my buddy Dylan come over and he's gonna help us take those measurements.
So yeah, basically what we're doing here, we got some 550 cord or some rope, some zip ties, a marker or two, and some tape. Basically the first biggest step is to get your harness kind of laid out of how you want it ran. What makes sense to take into considerations: heat, wearing, rubbing, expansion, stuff like that. All of that really matters in the routing of your harness. So it's really easy to do it in rope and then get lengths of everything. You know, if you run into an issue with rope, you can just cut it or start over instead of spending a ton of time and money into a harness. So this is a really great first step. We have one whole side of the engine already mocked up, the back of the engine mocked up, and we're working over here to get some of the other stuff like the throttle body, the fuel injectors, the coil packs already mocked up. And so everything will merge into one harness, and then we'll take it all off and we'll measure each length and everything, and I'll draw it out in a piece of paper, but that will give us an idea of what everything needs to be.
All right, so now you've seen my to-do list. I'm gonna get started setting up my Fortune Auto two-way coilovers, which I just got rebuilt and put on the car. And since this is their Pro two-way package that comes with helper springs, I'm able to set the bump height and the ride height independent from each other. And I'm gonna verify that I'm not gonna make contact with my wheel wells now that I'm running a bigger 18-inch wheel and tire package. All right, it's the next day. I'm still working on the car to set the bump heights on my Fortune Auto coilovers. I did the rears yesterday, but today I'm focusing on the fronts. So as you can see, this is pretty much full compression, and I'm checking to make sure that the tire can move freely. Also, since this is the front, I'm also gonna have to turn the steering wheel to make sure that it doesn't contact the fender when the wheel is fully turned. So I'm gonna work on doing that now. I was able to get the front bump stop set on the S2000, so now both front and rear bump stop height has been set. I'm still going to dial in the ride height a little bit, and I still need to get an alignment, but at least we're making some progress here, and I can take something off the list. Obviously, there's still a long list of things to get done before the car is ready to go to the track. So the car's come a long way over the last couple months, and I'm really happy with how everything's turning out with the new wide body and the suspension. But now we got to make this thing run. So in the next video, I'm going to be going over the wiring harness and installing that. We're going to be setting up the aftermarket ECU. I've got to set up my new digital dash since I'm not going to be using the stock cluster. So a whole bunch of cool mods to come on the build. Well, that is pretty much all I got for this video. I hope you guys enjoy this S2000 content. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video.